Hi there, twins and teens. Welcome to another episode of Adolescents by Adolescents. I am your host, Nadu. So, I know most of us can't wait to turn 16, right? I know. I felt that way too. 16 is like that magical age where we feel we're finally becoming semi-adults and everything's magically falling in place. So if you're tuning in right now, I know you're probably as excited about it as I am. So today, we'll be diving into some important lessons to learn before hitting that big 1-6. And guess what? We have awesome guests joining us to share these lessons. Hello, Neka.
Hello, Nadu.
Hello, Sharon.
Hi, Nadu.
Hi, Lillian.
Hello.
You guys are really looking beautiful today.
Thank you for having us.
This question goes to you, Lillian. How's life as a teenager?
It hasn't been smooth. It is practically thinking about yourself. When I was age 7 to 10, my mom would normally wake me up and said, "Come, let's go and get ready." So when I clocked this teenager, my mom does not even care. She'll just be like, "If you like, go to school. If you like, don't go. That's not my business. You're no more a baby." I just know that it hasn't been smooth.
Okay. To you. So are you looking forward to turning 16?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I want to be independent. I want to get myself an apartment, have a side hustle for pocket money, and my really big dream is to study artificial intelligence.
Wow. I love to be like you when I grow up. Like, seriously. Okay, Neka, how are you doing? So how's life as a teenager?
Well, life as a teenager wasn't that interesting to me. Most people enjoy this life of teenage. Years back, that was when I was 16 years old. I didn't find it so funny at all, turning 16 or even being happy as a teenager, because I get to act more than my age. I get to act like an adult, like a full-grown adult. So there is nothing really interesting about being a teenager. And again, to me, I feel like I should just be careful like a child at that age of 16. But then, because I lost my mom, I have to check out for some things by myself. I have to work hard. I have to think outside the box more than that age that I am. So life as a teenager wasn't that interesting for me.
Yes. So how about you, Sharon?
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to acknowledge first that that is the reality of most teenagers, unfortunately. But I'll count myself as one of the lucky or fortunate people to have had to be a child, because you are meant, as a teenager, you're still a child. You're meant to still be a child, not have the burden of this responsibility on you, and just grow up as a child. And it might be the times, or it might even be society. But I grew up in a much 2010, I was a teenager during that period, early 2000s, and children were allowed to be children. So my childhood was very exciting. I loved to play. I think about my childhood with so much joy, because I was really a child and I enjoyed my childhood. I enjoyed being a teenager.
That's
absolutely.
So what's one lesson you learned the hard way? Share a story, please.
Okay. All right. So I would start by saying I learned this lesson as a teenager and it has followed me through. There's this quote, they say you're the average of the 5 people around you.
Yes.
So as a teenager, I learned that there are consequences to hanging around foolish people.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. And that consequence follows you for a lifetime most of the time. I used to hang around a lot of questionable people. I wouldn't want to say they're foolish, but I used to do a lot of foolish things. I was the wild type of child. Like anything you say I should not do, I am there. That's exactly what I was going to do. I jumped fences. I did a lot of bad things, which I'm not proud of right now, but I did those things. And there was this situation that happened in my secondary school. I went to a boarding secondary school, and we had a clique. And it's all the cool kids in one clique, but there's always this one person that's just better than everybody. Like her father was very rich. She had the best uniform. She had the best provisions. So automatically everybody was jealous of her, right? So she had this boyfriend. Are we allowed to talk about boys?
Definitely.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
Okay. But she was 16. She had this boyfriend, and that was her only vice, because he didn't love her. And right, and that's one thing you should always know when someone is reciprocating a feeling to you. And that was her weakness. She had everything, but to us, we now formed like a foolish group, and we're like, how are we going to get her down? And I was the scapegoat. They're like, okay, so since because he has asked you out before and you said no, now you go forward and tell him you like him back, yes, and then snatch him away from her. And as a foolish little child, I was like, oh, okay, I would do that for the clique. And I went ahead and I did that. That ended up, I used to run, and she was also part of the team. And I was running one day and she just kicked me with so much force that I broke my leg after what I did, and she caught up to it. And since then, at this point, I developed a cane. Like, I wasn't born with a cane. Like, one of my legs are like crooked, and that's because I followed my peers. I was pushed around and I did a really bad thing, right? So yes, that's my major lesson.
Okay.
So you're not seeing around foolish people, did you?
No.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing again. So now, what's one thing you wish you knew about mental health before you actually turned 16?
Okay. I'll let's say I'm a mental health advocate. I talk about feelings
Wow.
a lot. I talk about feelings a lot. I have, you know what a therapist is?
Yes.
Okay, yes. So I have a therapist. And that started, even though, I said my childhood was lots of fun, I was allowed to be a child. We all have trauma from our homes. There are different things, especially in an African home, there are different things that have happened in your home that has collectively made this dark energy around you. And it's, you either do three things. You either distract yourself from it, you either go silent, or you react angry about it. I had all three stages of these things, and I was born in a single, with a single parent. And when I was born, normally that's not accepted, so like in the society. So I tend to be picked on. Like, a lot of people would be like, oh, your parents aren't married, or your mom is not married to your father. A lot of people throw the B word, not the bad B word, but like, can I say? A lot of people threw the word on me, and I would laugh it out when I was outside. But when I got to my home, or if I visit a friend and I see their parents, when I get back home, I think about it, right? Because as a teenager, there's this there's this hormone called, I think, allopregnanolone. It's a hormone that, as a teenager now, your brains are not fully developed.
Yes.
So so as you progress, you're changing physically, you're also changing mentally. So that hormone normally to us, it's created in a way that, when your phone overheats, you've seen a phone overheat, automatically it stops working and to tell you, leave it to cool down. So that's what that thing does. When you are stressed, that hormone is meant to make you feel better. It's meant to just calm you down. Now, for a teenager, because lots of hormones are developing, it does the opposite in you.
Yes.
It heightens every emotion that you feel. It heightens it up. So when
you feel like the sky is your limit.
Exactly. Or sometimes in a bad way, when your mom screams at you, you think she hates you. And absolutely not, she doesn't hate you. My lovely young friend here said her life has not been great as a teenager. Like, can you imagine? And if you ask her let's just let's ask her, what are your biggest problems right now as a teenager?
Like doing my laundry.
And she thinks like that's the most horrible thing. Yes, that's the biggest thing. So what this hormone does is that it intensifies your emotions times 100, right? And as a teenager, you guys deal with a lot. Like, I would like to acknowledge, and I dealt with a lot as a teenager. But I was lucky to have parents that were willing to always listen to me. So I could always, and I'm very good with asking for help. When I realized that, I'm sad, I'm very open with I'll go to my mom and be like, Mommy, I need to talk. And I'll tell her, this is what's happening, this is what my friends are calling me. And then she'll talk to me and remind me, this is who you are and this is who you are not. Because it's very important that you understand those two things. And another thing is, I love to journaling. I don't know if you guys enjoy writing. Writing does a lot.
Very much.
You have to write down your feelings. You can't run away from these things. It's good that you acknowledge that, okay, maybe, some hormones is making me feel bad. But you also have to deal with those emotions. And journaling is a very good thing. And also asking for help. That's very important. So I did both of those things.
Thank you very much. And to you watching us, nobody can ever make you inferior to yourself
Absolutely.
except you. You are the one that gives yourself happiness even more than anyone that is around you. What about you? What one lesson did you learn about you thought you learned rather, about mental health before you turned 16?
Wow, is okay. One thing I wish I would have learned about mental health before turning this, before like that 16 years of mine. I feel like how to manage and handle my mental health, which I get to know none of that. I did not know anything about mental health. Let me say it's now at this my age that I get to know things about mental health. So I was like, at times I'll be like, how I wish I get to know all those things. Then that was when I was 16.
Yes.
I think I would have been able to, I would have been able to handle some of the things better. But yes, it's never too late.
Yes, nothing is never too late in this life.
Yes.
William, so what funny misunderstanding you had about being a teenager before you actually became one?
My parents normally tell me that because I am a teenager, I should take care of their house.
Okay.
My sister will mess it up and go out. My brother will do the same. And I will just be like, why am I even a teenager? I'll just be like being a baby till eternity.
What about you, Neka?
As I said earlier, there is nothing funny for me. I mean, there is not, like, my teenagehood wasn't that interesting.
So now, how did you handle peer pressure and social expectations?
From my story, you should know I didn't handle it well. I didn't handle that very well. But yeah, that's why we have this podcast, you know, especially for the mental health.
Yes.
That's why I'm so happy that this podcast is happening, so that teens can have access to these materials and they can know better how to manage their mental health. After the round of foolishness, obviously, I learned my lesson. And from the societal pressure, I think the most pressure that comes up at that age is knowing everything, like knowing what to do. You know, when they'll ask you, oh, what do you want to become, knowing what to do, what school do you want to attend, all this puts so much pressure on myself. I'll talk about myself as a teenager. And I, of course, did not do well. I didn't cope well with that pressure. But I didn't handle my pressure well. So I would say, as a teenager, you should know how to handle your pressure well, know what works for you, know who you are. That's very important, know your core values. That way people can't tell you, because society will keep talking, especially when you have your phone with you consistently, it's always talking to you. Your friends are doing things that you think you should do, but it's good that you know yourself. You should be a leader yourself. You're a complete human being. So that's how to handle peer pressure. Know yourself first, know your core values.
I really enjoying this today. Neka, you said your childhood wasn't fun. So what are those things that you think would have made it fun?
Some of the things that I wish I would have get for that teenagehood to be more interesting for me, I think having a guardian, someone that will care for me like a child, leave me to do like that child that I want to be, not acting more than my age.
How did you feel going through those trying times?
It wasn't easy at all. At times, I'll just be alone in the room. I feel like myself. I feel like just because I found that the world is not like, it's not funny. Like, the world is not too good to me. I think it's just choose to throw me away. So I feel like at times I will cry. I'm always angry at all time. I can just be happy I can just wake up in the morning and just be happy, but just give me some 30 minutes. My mood will just change. I will not be happy again. I'll always find myself sad because at all points, and there is nothing like mental health, nobody to talk to, because I feel like if I discuss it to somebody or try to tell somebody, oh, this is what is disturbing me, that person will make mockery of me and then make jest of me. Or even my peers, talking to them and again seeing them, the way they move, they come to school being happy, this and this, but I'm not. I'm always sad.
How do you overcome it?
Well, I continue that way. Not until I continue moving that way. I have this dream of going to school. So I keep on pushing myself. I still want to go to school. So I keep on doing that house help. Even though I know I'm not happy. But once I go to school, I meet some of my friends. I think I crack jokes with them, say one or two things. I'll just be happy. But at the bottom line is that I still want to go to school.
Yes.
I don't mind what the situation is now, whether I'm happy or not. What matters is that I want to go to school. So that's it. I cope like that with the sadness and everything. That's how I cope with everything. But then at the end, towards my senior class, because I graduated this year from secondary school. So thank you very much. So towards that's how I get to know about mental health, how to handle it. It hurts me though, because I wish I knew this a long time.
Yes.
Life would have been fun for me.
What inspiring piece of advice would you give to someone out there watching you that is going through that same thing you went through?
Okay, all I would say is that don't give up.
You've heard it from the lion's mouth. Never give up.
Yes.
From this conversation, Lillian, I'd like to know what you've learned. We'd like to know what you've learned from this conversation.
I love the advice that Sharon gave, not to follow foolish friends, and from Neka, never give up. I will try my best.
Yes, she says she'll try her best. So that goes a challenge to you. Try your own best.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you picked up some valuable lessons from our conversations. So, we'd like to hear your questions, your thoughts, your experiences, and feel free to reach us at communications@dnf.org.ng or any of our social media handles. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow us, and always use hashtag for adolescent by adolescent when sharing any of your thoughts on adolescent issues. And guess what? This conversation isn't over. We'll be back next week for our part 2 of For Adolescent by Adolescents and lessons learned before turning 16. Remember, peer pressure is not an excuse. It is a choice. See you next time.
Bye.